How's it going, y'all? It's your boy Raymond back up in here with another video, and unfortunately, this one isn't exactly the cheeriest. Today, we're talking about essentially that Black Midi is done, possibly broken up. If you haven't been following the news recently, or if you really haven't dug into the Black Midi lore, essentially Jordy Griep, the lead singer frontman, essentially posted some stuff on an Instagram live stream, essentially saying that the band was done or broken up, basically. And this was in the midst of him essentially, talking about his debut single, like his debut solo project. I wasn't really expecting to make a video like this, but with all of this happening and with all of you guys, especially giving so much support to all of the Black Midi videos that I've done on this channel, I figured I should at least comment on it or say something. Them as a band and me covering them as a band on this channel has honestly done a lot for the channel, and I think probably 3 or 4 of my Black Midi videos are in like my top 10 most viewed videos like on the channel. So them as a band and me covering them has been such a huge growth point for this channel, and so I figured I should sort of dive in a little bit and see what's been going on and see if there's maybe a silver lining to all of this. So essentially Jordy had posted this thing on the Instagram live, and this was sort of like the official statement, I guess you could say, of the band, saying that they were broken up. Obviously Jordy being the front man, he's sort of the one that everybody looks to in case there's something that's going to be announced, and it just happened to be that this was the news, and the way that the statement was made was over an Instagram live video, and people were asking him questions on what the status of the band was. But the thing that I wanted to address is that this isn't something that's necessarily new, and especially for a lot of the bands that are coming out, a lot of these post-punk bands that are coming out of the UK right now, this isn't necessarily something new. If you guys can remember back to a time when there was 4 Black Midi members during the Schlagenheim era, Matt Kelvin was the second guitarist of the band, or I guess third if you want to count Cameron. Before they sort of added like the horn sections and then the saxophonist that they eventually toured with regularly. It used to be just like the 4 of them, 2 guitarists, bass player, and drums. Matt eventually left the band after the first album tour due to mental health reasons, essentially, as from what he stated online. There was sort of some cracks showing a bit, but as the band progressed, as Cavalcade came out and later Hellfire, it seemed like the band was heading into a really great direction, and they were progressing very quickly as a band. Their sound was evolving incredibly fast, and with each new release, it seemed like they were just heading for the stars. After Cavalcade came out, obviously we got the Cavalcade EP with some covers, which was great. People were sort of expecting a similar thing from Hellfire, but that didn't really happen. And so it had been about like a year or 2 since Hellfire came out, and that was one of my favorite albums of 2022 when that came out. Everybody was sort of wondering like what's going on, like are they continuing to make music, because they had been dropping a new album like every other year since 2019. So it had been kind of dry for like the past couple of years. There were videos on YouTube that were popping up of Cameron was doing solo sets at the Windmill. News started spreading pretty quickly that the band was maybe broken up. Nobody really knew what each member was sort of trying to go for at the time. Everybody just assumed that maybe they were going to continue the band and still do the solo projects on the side. But with no news of any new Black Midi album in sight for like the past year or 2, it seemed like they were just going to maybe disperse and do their own solo stuff. Eventually, there was the first video that we got, I believe about like a couple months ago, of Jordy premiering his new band, Jordy Griep and the Swing Boys. As soon as that came out, everybody online was sort of like, okay, like this is probably the end, but nothing is technically confirmed, so maybe there's still some hope. And then come the Instagram live stream and come the announcement of the new single that he was going to be releasing this week, it seemed pretty clear that it was done, which really does suck. And, I have to thank all of you guys, especially some of you guys who have been here since the start of the channel when I've been covering Black MIDI like crazy since Cavalcade. They've been a huge part in growing this channel, and you guys have supported them and supported my reaction and reviews of their stuff since, I kind of started up the channel. And so, I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate them for allowing me to expand, my platform essentially on here, and getting me more coverage. It's been a great ride. I've seen them, I think, like twice, I've seen Black MIDI 2 or 3 times. I've seen Black Country New Road twice. I'm huge fans of them, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know what exactly lies ahead in the future. Maybe they might get back together at some point. The other thing that I did want to mention as well is that, along with Matt leaving the band early on, only like a year or two later was when Isaac left Black Country New Road for similar reasons, it seems. It's a little sad to see sort of these young, groups coming out of the UK right now that really just shot out of a rocket in like 2019, 2020, with all of this fantastic, amazing music, and to see them really struggle in like the past couple of years has been a little heartbreaking. And for anybody who's like a Black Country New Road or a Black MIDI fan, it's kind of tough to watch right now, because it seemed like the growth was shooting to the moon and it wasn't going to stop, and they were really just getting their feet off the ground, and so now all of a sudden this has happened. But moving forward, I have heard the Jordy Griep single, Holy Holy. And I do have to say, honestly, it sounds great. I'm not going to lie. It gives me very much King Crimson-y vibes, obviously, that, they were a huge influence for Black MIDI. So it makes sense that Jordy would continue on with that sound. But it almost feels a little bit like sort of what they were trying to do on Hellfire, with a lot of that sound from that King Crimson era, and progressing it forward in more of like a modern sound, and with different influences that Jordy threw in as well. The track is incredibly groovy and also like intense, which is a great descriptor for any Black MIDI song, to be honest. But yeah, the music video I thought was hilarious. Essentially Jordy just dancing around a bowling alley, shooting some strikes and some misses here or there. Yeah, it almost sounds like Hellfire 2.0 in a way, which is kind of what I was hoping to get out of their next album. There's something to look forward to when it comes to that next project. I have heard some of the solo stuff on YouTube that Cameron has been posting from his live shows. That stuff definitely seems like it is much more up his alley and what he wanted to do. There were definitely a lot of signs, especially through Hellfire and even in Cavalcade, that, each of the band members maybe had different ideas of what they wanted to do for the band's sound. And Hellfire seemed like it did a great job of combining a lot of those elements into one cohesive project. But now with, the band members sort of spread off, it's really telling now of, who wanted to take the band in which direction. I think Cameron's acoustic style, and I think this really dour, almost singer-songwriter kind of style, I think is really the one that was pulling the band in a different direction. And Jordy really wanted to take it in this darker, edgier, post-punk, King Crimson inspired kind of vibe. And then I think, honestly, Morgan was just along for the ride, as it seems. In fact, Morgan is credited as being the drummer on Holy Holy. So, there's maybe some hope that they might collaborate with each other on their own different projects. Almost like a Beatles-esque thing, where some of the Beatles would appear on some of the solo projects of each member. I don't know what the future holds beyond that, but from the solo stuff that I have heard and that we've heard from Cameron and from Jordy, it seems like they are more comfortable where they're at right now, just sort of doing their own thing and doing their own sound. And so I can't really fault them for that. If that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do. And if it just didn't work out, then so be it. And I just wanted to thank you guys for your support, not only for supporting me, but for supporting them. And, you know, I'm a huge fan as well. And so it's sad to see them go, but it seems like there's hope, and it seems like there is some interesting stuff that we're going to get in the future from these solo projects. That's pretty much it. That's kind of all I wanted to address. I appreciate you guys so much for supporting the channel, and I know it kind of like sucks to see a band go, but at least we're coming out of it with some new music in one way or another. Thank you guys for watching. I definitely appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe down below, and hit the alarm bell for more videos that are going to be coming out. I'm still working on a couple others as well. Going to talk about the Magdalena Bay album coming up soon. That's pretty much it. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.